So I mapped out here now my my tone changes. So you got the professor running for 2 bars here at the beginning, then you got little tone changes that kick in all the way through, and then the M marker. So I'm now going to start to write some bits. First of all, I'm going to start with the professor, and it needs to be fairly low key. I might just use the accordion and perhaps put more reverb on it, because he's effectively kind of narrating the story for one of the boxers. He's kind of not really there, if that makes sense. So I think something nice and subtle, maybe. Something like that, maybe a fairly ethereal. So we're back to 1, 2, 3, 3, 4. I mean, you never know, do you? It's not brilliant, but I didn't hate it. So maybe let's try and clean this up a little bit. First of all, we'll give it a bit of a flick on the quantize. I think it's possibly a little too quick. Clean this up. And these last bits I'm unsure about whether they work or not. But let's see without a metronome what they sound like. Okay, so I kind of like the nice and low key, and I may see if I can put a chord end on top of it. I mean, the first one was nice. The rest was terrible. But definitely the first 3 worked. Let's pop them in line. Yeah, annoyingly, I fell off the scale there at the end, but we'll rectify that. Paste those together. Let's see how that works. Rubbish. That's how it works. I gotta fix this. Okay, so I think I want something just running to undertone the accordion as well. So I'm gonna put a little. It's just a kind of breathy. From Omnisphere, it's kind of like a synth kind of cello almost, but I think it will underscore kind of nicely. So. it might if I play the right notes. I think actually what I want to do is I'm going to change this into a drone. Literally a C and a C, just an octave apart. The rise of the octave will give a slight positive edge. I'm still not sure about that accordion. I think I could do better with the high line. It doesn't sound quite right. So I think that should come there. In. Okay, let's try and record something over the top of this. Okay, so I think I've got the accordion how I like it now. I'm going to write in a little bit of wet and dry for the reverb. So what I'm going to do is increase the reverb thus, so it should have a nice little tail on it, and what I might do is fade out that tail. Hopefully those will kind of slot into what I'm now going to do the piano. So what have I got? I've got 2.5 bars. So I probably want to intro the piano. Not entirely sure what I'm going to do with it yet, but I want to intro the piano across this section here and then come into sort of full bars here. Actually, no, maybe what I should do is do the full bars first. That probably makes better sense. So I'm going to sit here for a little while and try and work out something that is kind of playful, a little bit sultry, and see where I go from there. Okay, so I've been messing about and I've come up with this. As a basis, and I can hear where I want it to go thereafter, but I haven't quite worked out what that is yet. But I'm just going to see how this scans, put it in. Okay, that was terrible. Nowhere near time. So I still think this is a pretty good rhythm, but maybe I might ramp it up slightly. As I've laid in that piano, but it's half time and I've messed up several bits. But it's quite hard to play that slow. When you've nailed an end like that and you know the Oscar's on its way, why try harder? Right, I'm going to fix this. Someone's gotta. First thing I want to check out though is actually, would it work ridiculously quick? I mean, it's not miles off. It's not miles off. Anyway, what I think I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to get it to a point where I think, yeah, you know what, I like that tempo, so that I don't mess about rearranging all of my markers. So let's get it to a tempo that I like, then I'll reset it to 125, knowing what I'm going to put it up to. So 160 is what I'm going to turn it into. And now I just need to write down where my markers are meant to happen. And I'm going to add in a tempo track because I think that first bit is fine. So first of all, we reset it to 125, which it was. Then we're going to add back in a tempo track. Then we're going to put a marker there. In fact, I'll zoom in quickly so I get it nice and accurate. Okay. So next I need to just, yeah, 125, yeah, okay. So next I need to work out where my markers are. So I'm just going to write this down quickly. This will be very boring. I'll come back to you. Okay, so now I can go back. I can put in I can raise the tempo now to move my markers. So now what I'm going to do is fix the original. Again, I don't want it super quantized, but I do want it better than it is right now. So I'm going to faff about with this and I'll be back. Now to fix the notes. Hey, yeah, papa. Yeah, let me just stop this. Yeah, but this is the piano loop I've sided on. I'm just bringing in the atmosphere there. And again, this is a street conversation, so there's not a whole lot happening. I don't want to take too much away from these guys. What I've done is I've double looped the length of the cello, so it adds a little bit more kind of variety. So it's double the length of the piano loop. I'm absolutely loving this. This is supposed to be the reverb trail or something like that. It's dancing around over there. Anyway, so that runs for a little while, and then I'm having the piano just fade out as I want one of the transitions to change to a little bit more of a kind of somber tone, and I've put in the cello on its own. Now there's a nice little technique you can do with the legato cellos, because they can only play one note at a time. If you hit you hit multiple notes really, really close together, it does this kind of slide up, which I've tried to redo using really close quantize. So I've got that, which I think is nice, and then I'm bringing in a little easier kind of piano after that. Which I may just sort of fade that cello down a little bit so it's less obvious. Again, I don't want to detract from the audience, so I'm going to pull the cello down, I think, as that comes across. And that'll roll like that, just underneath the dialogue that's kind of a little bit more subdued. And then we're bringing back into the same piano motif. When it lightens up. Now these are not dead on where I'd place the markers, but again, at this stage, difficult to know where is going to be the right place to change it. So I'm doing the loops, leaving it as close as I can. I will probably have to put breaks in or elongate certain bits if I have to. But for now I'm going to leave it at that. And then all I'm going to do at the end here, because we're right near the end of the piece, which is nearly 5 minutes, which also gives a lot of time for something to go wrong or change, so we'll see. But I'm just going to run that piano and fade that down slowly, hopefully near the end of the scene. Run that down. And then a little bit of that Omnisphere synth that just sits underneath. And again, I think I'm going to probably fade that down as well across the last note. And that will probably be it for now. What I'll do is I'll fade it a bit harsher and just run it down there. Anyway, so that's that for now for this one. I am going to, again, not going to go too far, not really going to worry about mixing it too much because I think it's mixed enough for me to take to the performance area and see if it works during the action. Okay, that's that one for now.